How to master low-light photography. Low-light photography can be tricky, but it opens up a lot of opportunities for unique and dramatic shots. In this video, I want to talk about the challenges and the creativity that comes with shooting in low-light environments. I'll be sharing many photos and examples from my own experience using the Leica Q3 to show you how I approach different situations. In this video, I went to an aquarium to shoot in low-light conditions, and at night I took some street photos to share those low-light different scenarios. So the first thing I change when it comes to low-light photography is my ISO settings. So I use the 28mm version of the Leica Q3, which have 60 megapixel sensor. Because of this large size sensor, I limit my ISO to a maximum of 800. After a lot of testing, I found out that this is the best limit for me, that the photo still comes out pretty sharp and there is enough light coming into the camera. The limitation of the ISO is really important, and it depends on your sensor size of the camera. If your camera sensor is a bit smaller, like 20 megapixel or even 40, so you can limit your ISO higher. For my previous equipment, I found out that usually the limit is somewhere between 800 to 3200. I never passed this limit in my old gear, and I found out that this is usually the best range for my type of photography. And also, if the image comes out a little underexposed because of the ISO limit, I can still try to fix it in post-editing and get a pretty good results. I prefer shooting without a flash because it pushes me to be more creative with the light that I have. So I don't use a flash, and usually I don't use a tripod either. One of the reasons that I got the Leica Q3 was the fact that it's a compact size camera. I can take it with me everywhere without any extra gear, and I really like the simplicity that this camera gives me. So I always try to work with the light I have and not use any external lights. By the way, I really love to know if you're using flashes or tripod in your own photography, so please let me know in the comments. So let's talk about the shutter speed. I like to first set my aperture to the minimum that I can in low light condition, and then set my shutter speed to match it. In low light conditions, I like to set my aperture as open as I can to let more lights in. And I found that my camera stabilization is really good, and even at 1/60th of a second, the photos comes really sharp. So make sure you know what is your camera shutter speed minimum that the photo comes out sharp. But don't forget that it's really important that your shots will be sharp, because you can't really fix it in post-editing, and as I said, it's preferred that your photos will be a little bit unexposed and try to fix it later. If your photo will be blurry, you can't really do anything with it. When it comes to editing, it really changes the final look of your photos. I share here the JPEG version of the photos after I edit them with my Lightroom presets. I share the JPEG to show you the limited information and what you can do with this. Of course, if you're shooting RAW, you can play more after in post-editing, but I like to shoot in JPEG, even though maybe it's preferred to do so in low-light conditions, but for me personally, I found that it's more than enough. Just because we can shoot in RAW and have more information in the files of the photos doesn't mean we have to do this all the time. And this is part of the simplicity that I like in the JPEGs. Sometimes there's just not enough light in the photo, or the colors are not interesting enough in the low light conditions. So what I do personally sometimes is convert the photo to black and white. Shooting in low lights allows me to tell a completely different story from shooting in daylight. The atmosphere and the mood is completely different, and I found that my shots comes out more dramatic or intimate than any other photos that I took in daylight. Low light soften the mood and add an extra layer to the photo. That being said, this isn't my preferred style of photography. I usually like to shoot things that I want to print, and I just love the vibrant color in daylight. That's why I don't shoot much black and white or in dark places, but it's still nice to experiment with it and upload this to social media and stuff like that. Another key for low light photography is the composition. When shooting in low light, the composition becomes even more important because there is more darkness in the photo. You need to know how to use this darkness to your advantage and how to direct the viewer's eyes towards your subjects. Playing with shadows, negative spaces, and light sources can really change the final image. If you are interested to learn more about composition, I have another video of 10 tips to improve your composition skills, so make sure to check this out. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.